So good morning, good morgen, guten Tag, bonjour à tous, bienvenue, hola, buenos días, what else? Guten Tag. I don't know how many more I can do, but ni hao, if we have any folks from China. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for coming. It's my pleasure to introduce you to today's event here at the University of New England. President Kelly Red, there he is, there's Lars, okay, and senior leaders of the University of the Arctic and honored guests, its dignitaries. It's such a pleasure to welcome you all to our campus here at the University of New England. I hope you've enjoyed the past few days in Maine, getting to know our wonderful state and faces from across the North Atlantic, attending pre-conference activities and immersing yourselves in the opening days of this year's assembly. And I hope you'll find some time during your time here to explore the beautiful Maine coast. It really is a very special place. The University of New England's delighted to co-host this year's assembly with the University of Southern Maine, the Climate Change Institute at the University of Maine, the University of New Hampshire, and Dartmouth College. To our friends at all of those institutions, thank you for being such wonderful partners in this endeavor, and I'm so glad together we could bring this assembly to New England. Colleagues, we are brought together by our shared commitment to building a healthier North. This commitment's driven by our concern for the future of our planet, its oceans, coastlines, ecosystems, and economies in light of the many challenges that we face. But this concern is mitigated by optimism that we hold, the knowledge and talent our respective organizations possess, and the belief that together we can make a difference, that together we can ensure the world we leave to future generations is a better one than the one we inherited. Here at the University of New England, we have an established track record of academic strength in human health and environmental science and sustainability. 2 weekends ago, in fact, we hosted our 187th commencement ceremony in our institution's history, graduating more than 1,600 students. Many of our newest degree recipients work as nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, physician's assistants, and pharmacists in our region's hospitals and healthcare facilities, as we are Maine's #1 provider of healthcare professionals. Likewise, many graduates of our College of Osteopathic Medicine will, upon completing their residencies, return to Maine to provide desperately needed expertise across our state. We host Maine's only medical school. Many more of our graduates head into the field bearing degrees in environmental science, sustainability and business, marine science, marine entrepreneurship, and marine affairs, as our highly ranked programs in these areas attract students from across the United States. Given our mission of educating students to support the health of the world's people, communities, and natural environment, you can see why we were so eager to join the University of the Arctic in 2018. I arrived here at UNE in 2017, and one of my top priorities upon learning about the University of the Arctic was making sure that we could become members. And so I'm very, very happy and proud that we were able to do so. Our commitment in this area is further reflected in our partnerships, such as the Iceland Exchange program, where we send students to both Reykjavik and Akureyri, our annual attendance at the University of the Arctic Circle Assembly in Reykjavik, our observer status for the UN Climate Change Conference, and our investment in UNE North, our Institute for North Atlantic Studies, where Holly Parker directs, and which is based here in Portland. And on a personal level, it's just been very energizing for me to engage in the work of building deeper partnerships throughout the North Atlantic region. And it's been inspiring going to Iceland every year. I've gone every year since I arrived at UNE, and it's just been amazing, seeing the relationships, building relationships, seeing the diversity of peoples from across the world, the global North in Iceland. I very much enjoyed my time there. A funny anecdote, my wife, who's not with us here today, but her ancestry dates back to Friesland in the Netherlands, and she looks like she just got off the boat from northern Scandinavia. And so when we were in Iceland, it's funny because they can of course spot tourists from the US or elsewhere, and they immediately speak to you in English. And so they would say, you know, I would go up to buy a beer or something, and they would immediately start talking to me in English. But my wife couldn't understand why every time she would go anywhere, they would immediately start speaking to her in Icelandic. And of course, she didn't understand a word, but it's because she looks like she's right off the boat. It's kind of a funny story. So we recognize the great demographic, geographic, climatic, and cultural similarities between Maine that Maine shares with the North Atlantic and the Nordic states. In fact, I would venture to say I just got back from Southern California, where my daughter and son-in-law live, and I actually think we have more in common, we Mainers, with people in the Nordic countries in many ways than we do with people living in California in our very own country. So just an interesting cultural similarities. Maine shares the many similarities, both culturally, geographically, climatically, with the other countries in the North Atlantic. We know that the challenges that we face here in Maine are too big to tackle alone. Only by working together across boundaries, oceans, countries, and disciplines can we create the kind of future to which we all aspire. The UArctic is a tremendous vehicle for this work, and we're very grateful to be part of it. What I'd like to do now is share a brief video that illustrates a little bit more about our university and some of the work we do.
At the University of New England, we view health as a continuum that stretches from the individual, including physical well-being, happiness, and a sense of purpose, to the regional, where strong, inclusive communities provide mutual support, safety, and security, and foster economic opportunity, to the global, including respect for others, respect for the environment, and a desire to live in a peaceful world of productive alliances. Our Biddeford campus sits on the Gulf of Maine, one of the fastest warming bodies of ocean water in the world. It is the perfect living laboratory for scientists from our School of Marine and Environmental Programs to study the effects of climate change on coastal ecosystems, on invasive species and species migration, and on human populations, as increasingly climate change affects human health, resource access, including food, housing, and employment opportunities, and public policy scrambles to keep up with new challenges. UNE has the greatest concentration of health professions programs in northern New England, including Maine's only medical and dental schools. And we are recognized as international leaders in interprofessional education, training students from different health disciplines to work collaboratively as part of a team to deliver better outcomes to greater numbers of patients. Based in a rural state with an aging population, UNE is deeply invested in developing strategies to improve the health and well-being of remote and underserved populations, including rural immersion programs, clinical partnerships in underserved areas, and the use of emerging access technologies, such as telehealth. Our commitment to sustainability starts on campus with our facilities, including the Green Wall and burr-proof glass in the Rippage Commons building, and encompasses groundbreaking efforts in the field, from reviving the American chestnut tree to tracking the tiny bobolink and cultivating alternative sources of medicine and food. Our global perspective is demonstrated by our ever-expanding international footprint and the fact that UNE students study abroad at 5 times the national average. We have a unique jewel of a campus in Tangier, Morocco, partnerships with institutions in France, Spain, and Iceland, and cross-cultural partnership programs that bring health professionals and students to communities around the world. Through UNE North, the Institute for North Atlantic Studies, we put UNE's resources and expertise to work for partners across the North Atlantic region. From our campus in Portland, Maine, where the Deepwater Harbor is the gateway for U.S. engagement in the New North, we draw from UNE's academic, scientific, and healthcare expertise and our extensive network of business and government relationships to help create surprising solutions and fuel fresh approaches in the New North. a region with which Maine shares multiple deep affinities: demographic, geographic, climatic, and cultural. We're of this place, from this place, and for this place. And we invite you to work with us to promote responsible stewardship and successful outcomes for businesses, communities, environments, and individuals across the region and around the world. The University of New England prepares students to thrive in a rapidly changing world, and in so doing, to improve the health of people, communities, and our planet.
Thank you all again for joining us in this important work, and I'll close by inviting you to help us write the next chapter of New England, the North Atlantic, and our Arctic partnerships, and by strengthening our shared bonds. And at this time, I'd like to hand it off to my friend, the president of the UArctic, Lars Kellyred. So, tack, and...
Stay with me here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I think this was a fantastic sales pitch explaining why this is home for all of us. There is no difference between your north and many of ours north. So really nice to have you in the family of University Arctic. In UArctic we have the tradition of rewarding the hosts, and in this case host in plural, with a special gift. A very small little thing for you, the UArctic pin, but this time in the silver handsmith version by one of the young students once upon a time in the Arctic world. She was a student from northern Lapland. She went to exchange to Nunavut in a handicraft school there, then to Siberia, also learning handicraft, and she ran a business producing these things, but also doing this specifically for UArctic. So this is our flower, the Dryas octopetia, the one with the 8 petals, even if one is a bit shaky now with a Russian partner. And for you to wear in your Arctic context.
Thank you.
So thank you for very much.
This is wonderful. Thank you. I want to put it on right now. Can I put it on?
It's very complicated to put on, so maybe we'll do
It's complicated?
Yes, because this is screws.
Okay.
So
then I'll
just to warn you.
but I will do it. Thank
Please
you.
do.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
for hosting us.
I appreciate it.